Welcome back, and what a race that was on Sunday. Bahrain. What a race on Sunday. Congrats to Ferrari for finishing first and second. My boy Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz both getting first P1, P2, with of course Mercedes somehow, aka Lewis Hamilton, getting P3. Congrats to both. Congrats to all three of them. As for Red Bull, it was a very, very tough day. Just a quick little recap of what happened yesterday. As for Red Bull, Perez and Verstappen both had mechanical issues towards the end. Verstappen was just crazy because it seemed like his car just stopped, and then Sergio Perez just spun out. Also, shout out to Haas, aka Kevin Magnussen. I probably butchered that name, so sorry. We did go over the names yesterday. I'm probably still gonna mess up. I'm just hard headed, but shout out to him. I think he finished top 10. Very, very good race for him. Good to see Russell debuting for Mercedes. And also McLaren was very disappointed with how McLaren raced yesterday, Lando and Daniel. But besides that, man, Ferrari could be an issue. But I'm so happy that my guy, Charles Leclerc, did get P1, did win the race. But anyway, what caused Red Bull's nightmare Bahrain GP F1 Implosion? So we are finna test out. We are finna watch the video. We are finna see what's talking about. Shout out to the race as always. Let's get started, man. Also, y'all let me know you guys' overall thoughts about the race yesterday. Were you guys happy, mad, upset? Let's get started.
Red Bull's start to the 2022 Formula One season imploded in the final laps of the first
Also, some of you guys in the live stream yesterday, we did go live yesterday. I don't know if you guys didn't see that, but we did go live in the race yesterday. I did miss like the first 10 laps. A lot of y'all did mention DACA 44. His last video is like a freaking hour long. I know some of y'all want me to react to that, but I'm probably not going to do an hour long reaction video. But if there's like a specific video you guys want to check out about him, let me know in the comment section below, because I must have just not seen it and stuff like that. Alright, I'm done. We're done.
Verstappen and Sergio Perez suffered what appeared to be the same disastrous failure that turned a decent Bahrain Grand Prix for the team.
Because they were both doing decent.
Everything we'd seen up to the point Verstappen's car ran into trouble suggested Red Bull didn't have anything for Ferrari and Charles Leclerc in a straight fight, but to go from an expected 30 points for second and fourth to leaving Bahrain with nothing was a horror show.
But I said it's only the first race though, so I'm not gonna overreact. You know what I mean?
When it became clear Verstappen didn't have an answer for Leclerc, he made a surprise third pit stop in an attempt to shake up a race that was looking settled. While that tactic was nullified by Pierre Gasly's AlphaTauri retiring.
Oh yeah, his car. I forgot about Gasly. His car catching on fire.
Leclerc to safely make an extra stop of his own, any hopes Verstappen had of battling for the win on the restart quickly evaporated. After failing to keep up with Leclerc when racing resumed, Verstappen thought he had a battery problem. The loss of power eventually became terminal and left the #1 Red Bull crawling back to the pits to start its title defense.
I say Leclerc. But he says Leclerc, so
Red Bull will
I'm just gonna say Leclerc.
A thorough investigation.
I'm just gonna say Leclerc.
Next week's Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, but its initial understanding of what happened appears to suggest it was fuel system related.
There was no fuel coming to the engine and everything just turned off, so I roared back into the pit lane. It's not what you want, especially after having really positive test days and also a positive weekend. That's what I thought. I thought, their preseason, especially their their practices at Bahrain weren't too bad. It was just weird, what the hell happened? Shit just went left with them. Shit went major left with them.
To make matters much worse for the team, Sergio Perez suffered the same problem
the exact same issue
of the race while defending what had become third place from Lewis Hamilton. The second Red Bull shut down and spun at the first corner, also retiring. Fuel might not leap out at you as a noteworthy change under F1's radical new rules for 2022, but beyond the huge aerodynamic changes we've got for this year, there's also been a change engine experts have called the biggest since the introduction of the V6 turbo hybrids in 2014. And that's the introduction of what's called E10 fuel. This year the engines are running on a fuel that features 10% greener ethanol in its makeup, and that has fundamentally changed how the engines run. So how did this hit Red Bull in the closing stages of the race? The new fuel makes the engines behave very differently, and crucially it runs at a different temperature to the previous fuel. Many teams noticed this temperature change proving problematic for the fuel systems when running on lower fuel during testing, and they were able to tackle the problem before Bahrain. But Red Bull didn't do any low fuel running, nor did it complete a full race simulation, so it never got to experience the problem before the first race of the year. And while Verstappen and Perez appeared to suffer the same problem, the stoppage of the AlphaTauri of Pierre Gasly, which uses the same engine, was not related. That is believed to have been an MGU-K problem.
That's weird. That's weird.
As we've already mentioned, Leclerc seemed to have the race won before Verstappen ran
Yeah,
into problems.
I was confident,
There
but he
was
winning
more
regardless.
going on for the Red Bull than just the fuel issue. Verstappen drew great attention to a steering problem with his radio messages after his final pit stop, but that was unrelated.
He did mention how, like, I think he mentioned yesterday, 'cause I know I was watching on ESPN, I think he did mention that, like, the higher speed he got, the more hard it was to, like, control his car and stuff like that. I was like, that's what when I saw, I was like, yeah, something's weird. I was like, yeah, something's weird. Something's going on with the Red Bull cars.
Red Bull
Well,
believes
specifically
the track rod
Max.
was tweaked when the car
Max.
was dropped down after its final stop, altering the steering geometry. However, by that stage, Verstappen had already been managing another part of his car. After his thrilling scrap with Leclerc over 3 laps, which we'll come back to shortly, Verstappen said he had to let the Ferrari go because his brakes were overheating. Still, at that stage, Verstappen was happy to accept kicking off his 2022 season with a second place amid some grumbles about Red Bull not letting him push harder on his outlaps after
Fuel
pit stops.
system steering.
He felt if he'd been allowed to push harder straight out of the pits, he could have jumped Leclerc to move into the lead. His team didn't quite share that view, believing that Ferrari's advantage was enough, that even if
because
Verstappen
he was
got ahead
pissed
during the
afterwards.
stops, Leclerc would have repassed
He was
him for the
pissed
lead.
afterwards.
Later in the stint, Max would have paid for taking that life out of his tyres. Verstappen wasn't happy with his race pace after a strong showing in Friday practice, but he accepted these things can happen when it comes to not quite nailing the setup for a brand new car. He sounded less tolerant of the engine problem that ended his race, saying problems can happen and you might have a retirement, but I think at this level, after already having so much information with the engines and stuff, it shouldn't happen, unfortunately.
That's what I'm saying. So, I think Max is just, my basic summary of what I got from it is just basically Max is just very disappointed with how the car just performed. Like, I guess my thing is like, what changed? Like, what just happened? Like, you know, if everything was, you know, going smooth during practice and qualifying and stuff like that. Like, obviously the brakes overheating isn't good. You know, obviously the steering wasn't good, and I think the air, like the fuel system wasn't good. I just forgot, my dumb ass. But hey, Red Bull gotta get right. That's all I'm gonna say. Red Bull gotta get right. The Ferrari's gonna be an issue this year.
Mercedes in an upcoming video, but we couldn't end this discussion about a thrilling F1 season opener without talking about the driver and team that took a deserved first victory since 2019.
My boy Charles.
Ferrari was tipped to be a contender again in 2022, and it delivered on that promise immediately, with Charles Leclerc winning from pole position and Carlos Sainz capitalising on Verstappen's problems to complete a remarkable 1-2 finish. Leclerc's supreme talent has never been in doubt, but he's had few chances to show it in the last couple of years after Ferrari's form nosedived in 2020 due to its engine. However, in his first race back in a race-winning car, he delivered the goods and got stuck in with world champion Verstappen on track in a battle that potentially laid down a marker for the season. Verstappen has earned a reputation as the toughest driver on the grid when it comes to wheel-to-wheel combat, and Leclerc faced a stern test when the Red Bull driver attacked.
They was going at it early on, though.
Consecutive laps in the middle of the race. Each time Leclerc fought back, and he wasn't afraid to do it forcefully, most notably first time around when he boldly turned in ahead of Verstappen, having got a run around the outside of him heading to turn 4 with DRS. But this battle wasn't all about bravery. Leclerc revealed after the race he'd been making sure Verstappen was ahead of him before they got to the DRS detection point for the run to turn 4, so he'd always have the benefit of the overtaking aid for his retaliation. It's unlikely Verstappen had any doubts over what Leclerc is capable of, but at the first attempt, the man now leading the World Championship has made it clear he has the sheer speed, bravery and intelligence on track to be a fierce competitor to overcome in 2022.
Going to be very, very, very interesting to see how the season unfolds. Obviously, this is what we got going into Saudi Arabia. Again, Haas, 5th. Like I said, do I expect them to stay there? Absolutely no. I don't expect them to stay there, but it's going to be an interesting race. We're going to be interesting. We are going to see what's going to happen throughout the week regarding the news and update stuff like that. Y'all know what you guys think about it. Don't forget to like the video and sub as well. Coming up later, thoughts and reactions. Red Bull, man. Hey, Red Bull's how I get right. Hopefully, if they can fix those 3 main issues, steering wheel and all that, we will see. But we will see. We'll see you guys later.